Y'all just missed some great, great discussion.
Yep, too bad.
All right, from the top.
So you had a doctor's appointment this week.
did, yeah. I have a sinus infection.
Yuck.
It's Kate couldn't find us either. She was texting me.
All right.
Yeah, I went to the doctor Tuesday. Was it Tuesday?
Yes.
Yes.
Because we had the Tuesday night thing here at church.
And she said, "Do you want me to test you for COVID?" Now what? I'm not showing up.
Yeah.
There we are. How about now? Nothing. Here we are. Thumbs up, thumbs
Some
down.
days are like this. Mama said there'd be days like this.
How about now?
Great. I think that's all great. Gone. What?
Well, that might be the theme of the day. We're just done.
Gosh. We're
Now
done.
I got a yep. I got a thumbs up.
All right. Looks like we're all good now. So I texted Keith last night, let's do doctors as our theme today, because I know he had seen a doctor for a sinus infection, and I had a doctor's appointment yesterday. So you got a shot.
I did.
Not yesterday, but 2 days ago.
I like when they give the shot because I immediately felt better.
Okay, you don't.
Well,
the rest of you does not present that way.
We also went swimming last night.
Maybe not your finest moment.
Probably not the smartest thing to do with a sinus infection.
And 875 milligrams of antibiotics.
Twice a day. I've never seen amoxicillin so big.
You better go get some probiotics because your gut is going to hate you.
Should have some yogurt, huh?
Yeah.
Some kombucha.
Or some Greek yogurt for sure. Get your probiotics up because those antibiotics do great for this, but they also don't do great in that area because they take out all the good stuff with it. I found this out during Samuel's 5th grade debacle.
Oh.
And he was only on 300 twice a day. Of course, he was half your size at the time.
If that.
Yeah, after he lost 10% body weight, he was even less. But yeah, so they said you have to, if you take your antibiotic in the morning, take a probiotic in the evening. Or if you're taking them twice a day, offset it to get probiotics to let your gut stay healthy. Otherwise, you're going to have some problems.
Great.
Just so you know, these are things they don't tell you when they.
I'll just go to Taco Bell.
I don't think that's the probiotic that you want.
It works though.
There's a lot of biotics in Taco Bell food, but I don't think the kind you want.
Bionic biotics.
But yeah, so yeah, I had a dermatology first time ever, but she checked me all out, cleared me, no big deal.
We had 3 great sponsorship opportunities right there, and
missed
them all.
That's probably because we shouldn't be doing that, and that's why it cut us out. Probably because we shouldn't be asking for that. But if you want to see us back on YouTube, it's a $25 a month charge. So anybody who wants to sponsor that,
We'll be all about it.
It's
you can write one check, you can write a check a month, you can just however you feel like doing it.
Whatever you want to do there. But that's how you get us back on YouTube.
Like I said earlier.
It's just the way life is.
I don't know how long today goes. I can't talk.
You're doing pretty good at it so far.
Again, I was saying this morning.
You're gonna go take a nap after this.
No, I don't feel bad. That's the problem. I sound awful. I'm sniffling, I'm coughing, I'm hawking up stuff.
I brought this for your nose in case you needed it.
Thanks. But that's the thing. It doesn't come out this way.
It's coming.
It comes out this way.
Down your throat.
Which causes me to cough, which, in the day and age of COVID.
Not in today's moment.
You can't cough anymore.
No. Because
you can't cough or sneeze.
Because.
Without having the Rona.
You're a viral carrier.
Yeah. It's a sinus infection. You're not going to catch it.
Right.
I mean.
How did you get it?
It starts with allergies.
You don't have it often. You haven't had this too often.
No.
maybe once a year.
Yeah, about once a year.
This time of year, or is it in the fall?
Sometimes.
It just
It
depends.
just depends. It's usually worse in the fall. It's not usually in summertime months, so I don't get it.
Yeah, it's a great lead up to camp
Oh yeah. Well, I should feel
and
great.
VBS.
I should feel great in about a week.
Just in time for VBS.
Yeah, just to get worn out again.
Good
What am I
times.
thinking?
Good times.
Why am I doing VBS? I'm a youth guy.
So what was the worst doctor's appointment you've ever had to go to
Well, emergency appointments are always the worst.
that we can actually talk about?
I have a scar right here above my right cheekbone.
Are we going to play Lethal Weapon now?
No.
Because I have a scar right here.
I think I was in second or third grade. And back then, we picked for captains. Well, to see who picks first, there was no rock, paper, scissors. We ran the bases,
Right.
opposite directions. Well, my best friend at the time, John
Ran in.
Novak, and I were chosen as captains. We were both very competitive guys. And ironically enough, about the same speed.
So at second base.
So we met at second base, and I walked away with his tooth in my eyeball.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was great. We went to the doctor together. Oh, we went to the same doctor in town. He had his tooth pulled out of my eye, gave it to him, sent him to the dentist. I don't think they put it back in. Would have been second grade, so just
Yeah.
baby teeth.
Yeah.
And he gave me like 4 stitches.
Well, hopefully it was still a baby tooth. At second grade, you could have lost it.
No, it was a baby tooth. He has all of his teeth. And he didn't have to get a prosthetic or anything.
Good.
So then, medicine wasn't great back in the late 70s.
So that's the worst doctor's appointment, or just the most memorable?
That's the most memorable. I don't know. I've never had, me personally,
If I go to the doctor, it's for usually not good things. Because, going to the doctor is not a guy thing. Unless I have to.
It's not. I mean, the worst doctor's appointments are,
Emergencies.
yeah. That's the most memorable one I had, though.
Yeah, I came out of one of the worst ones was one of my first emergency ones for me. Because I was in college and was walking down the hallway and just was having this doubling over pain and had no idea. And it wasn't appendicitis. That didn't come till years later. I thought it might have been. And so I didn't know what it was. And so I had my first ever scope done. Not a fan. I didn't have another one until my 50th year, which yours is coming. And
My sister tells me I should have already had one.
depends on your family history.
Well, it does.
Do you have a family history of it?
I do, but I didn't know until like.
So you should have had it at 40 or 45. So you should schedule that with your PCM.
Let's see. Here they go.
Here go your sisters, who are older than you, and so we would think wiser. So yeah, I had apparently some polyps that were causing me issues.
Oh,
So had those taken care of. So when I go for my 50-year moment, my colonoscopy, I guess we can say that on the air now.
the moment.
They're asking history and stuff, and I'm like, well, I mean, there was one time, and so that gets them all concerned. But cleared. I don't have to go back for 10 years. So that was last year. So, at last year's appointment, also my primary care wanted me to see the dermatologist, who I just got busy and didn't do it. And so I went back again for my annual physical this year. And he's like, so I see some things.
What did the dermatologist say? Oh, about that.
Yeah. He didn't ask me. He just he's really cool about it. He didn't ask me what she said. He just said, I see a couple of things. I want you to go see a dermatologist. See, he'll do that like twice. And so I messaged him in the app messaging. Dermatologist cleared me. We're all good. So, yeah. So she didn't see anything she cared about. So I was very good with that. So
good.
Hey, Rajan Dermatology. Go see Amy Waltoff.
Amy Waltoff.
She is very good. She's just setting. She was in Dallas for a number of years, and she's setting up her practice over on Bryant Irvin.
Oh, good, local.
Yeah, she's local, and it's just right over there. It's at the entrance to Mira Vista.
Okay.
Off of Dutch Branch and Bryant Irvin, right in that area, close to my house, which I really like. So my primary care is within a mile of my house. This one's a mile and a half within my house. I'm happy about those kinds of things.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
So, but yeah, that's probably my worst doctor. Now, in the worst doctor's appointment in my life was with one of my children.
Sure.
But so yeah, what is it about us not wanting to go to doctors as guys? That's like a guy stereotype.
I don't know. Sign of weakness.
I don't know. Is it that?
Maybe it's perceived sign of weakness.
Maybe. Oh, that if you go,
yeah,
you're weak.
Yeah, I mean, we're the suck it up buttercup.
Yeah, I think that may be true. That, and I don't know.
Like when I blew out my shoulder playing basketball.
Right.
I mean, I literally could not lift my arm.
Yeah, I'll go to the doctor for that.
I didn't want to go to the doctor.
Oh, you still didn't want to go to the doctor?
I was trying to get back in the game.
Okay, well.
I was literally trying to get back. I was like, hold on, guys, I'll be right, right there.
That's a whole different level of that's a whole different
ignorant.
That's a whole different level. To which your sisters would attest. That's a whole different level.
They know I'm a whole different level. They know I'm a whole different level. Everyone that knows me knows I'm a whole different level.
I know, right? Just wrap it up. Just give me some K tape. Let's go.
If I could have had some K tape,
you'd have been back on the floor.
Something would have held my shoulder back in. I could have gone one-handed. I could shoot one-handed.
You don't dribble left-handed anyway.
No, who dribbles left-handed?
Just tie it up. Just tie it up. Play one-handed. Yeah. You just can't guard anybody.
I don't play defense like that anyway.
Yeah, Warriors don't either, apparently.
No, I let you get around me and then I block you from the back.
Oh, was that
was my MO.
That was your move?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, back when I weighed 148 pounds, I could jump pretty well.
Sure. It's been a while.
I don't jump like that anymore.
No. Last time I was 148, I was a senior in high school. This is the last time I was 148.
I was when I bested my shoulder, I was pushing like 156. I was 75 pounds ago.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel that. But that's a different conversation. That shouldn't be today's conversation.
No. So I see you've chosen your book.
I did not choose the book.
How many responses did you get?
Official responses, I got 11. For those of you that don't know, on Facebook and in the church newsletter this week, I put a picture out that had five potential books. And if you don't know, I'm going away this weekend. Dulce and I are getting away in the RV for the weekend. We leave. I'll go set the RV up tomorrow night, Friday night, and I'll bring it back on Monday. So just taking a little weekend. Normally I would be gone this weekend anyway, and next week due to Southern Baptist Convention. But with budgetary cuts and whatnot, that's not feasible this year. So I opted just to have an RV weekend. I already had a guest speaker, Nathaniel Katz. He's a seminary student at Southwestern. I already had him scheduled to come in for the weekend. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to take the weekend. I already had it. So I just changed destinations. And so Dulce and I are going to head out in the RV for the weekend and just kind of get away. She needs it. I need it. Everybody needs a weekend every now and then. So anyway, I find myself on the mornings when we're gone on RV, I don't sleep late.
Right.
And she does. And so I have some time in the mornings that I tend to like to read. And so I had these 5 options that I was thinking about reading of varying lengths. And I just said, help me choose what to read this weekend. And Some of it was history, some of it was ministry, some of it was leadership. And so the winning book out of that so far, now others can go on and still vote.
Look at the size of that book. You'll read that in a day.
Yeah, I'll probably read that one morning, and then I'll just pick one of the others. Pick one of the others. But hey, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do.
It is.
I didn't know. I had a lot of people look at it, but not a whole lot of people vote on. But that's so far. Paul and his team learn from the team that established the early church, and how they can teach us about leadership. And that's current in the lead. 50% of the votes have gone to that.
I voted for this one.
You know, and if I didn't have interest in it, I wouldn't have put it down. So I'm looking forward to it, unless the votes change across today and tomorrow morning when I finalize the trip.
You can take 2 books.
Oh, I will, because that won't take me. I have some other things I can do, but I can read that, and that'll be good, because I'm in between semesters.
Yeah.
And so I don't have required reading.
That was my favorite part of the whole scenario. I want to read something I want to read, not something I have to read.
Right. And those of you that may be listening now or at another time, I have enjoyed the reading that I'm reading for classes.
Right.
But, I also have interests otherwise. And, this, just for the sake of argument, on the other end of the spectrum, was this book, which is called God's War. It is a new history of the Crusades, and so that's probably going to be going with me. So when I finish
that'll take a couple minutes, though.
It'll take a hot minute.
Hopefully, there's a lot of pictures in that.
No, there are no pictures in these.
See that.
There's no pictures in these books, man.
It's all words.
It's all words, no pictures. All right, so there's a map in the middle.
Lies. That's it, though.
Oh, I could say something really snarky, but no, I'm not going to.
Wow, look at all
the end notes. Yeah. I finished up the research on the current sermon series that we're in. Behave Yourself. That's Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Preaching through the Sermon on the Mount.
Different look at Sermon on the Mount. Really enjoying it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Why? Just talk to me.
Sermon on the Mount. The only thing we ever hear from the Sermon on the Mount is Beatitudes. I mean, the largest part of what you ever hear from the Sermon on the Mount is the Beatitudes.
Sure.
There's so much more to.
There's a whole
those
ethical
3
code.
chapters.
There's a whole ethical code.
Yeah. But we seem to gloss over those.
Sure. Well, I will tell you, like this last Sunday, some of the topics are tough.
Yeah. The last 2 Sundays.
Adultery and divorce.
Yeah.
Some of the topics are tough. They're not easy to deal with.
And I've had people tell me, I appreciate that he's addressing these from the pulpit.
Right. Even though at times they're not always kid friendly.
Well,
they're not small child friendly.
But
parents need to hear this.
We have discerning parents.
That's right.
Understand.
That's right. They can go back and listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And
if you didn't hear last week's sermon, go back and listen to it, and really listen to it, and understand our role as a church in loving people through divorce,
right,
and not shaming them because of their divorce.
And I took a particular bent with it. I was speaking to the church at large about it, and so I know some people that may be divorced might not have felt as included in the message, and I hated if they felt that way, because I wasn't talking about them,
right?
That wasn't the intent, but I needed to speak to the church at large, because the church at large in my growing up years was hateful,
mm-hmm.
And we just can't be that. We can't be that way,
right?
Jesus isn't that way. Now, there's a difference in love and tolerance, and I can be intolerant and still love you, even though that's difficult for our world to see today. I don't have to accept what you do in order to still love who you are.
Right.
And that's tough, especially with the women's rights issues up for grabs right now, with the gender issues that are going on right now. I can love you but not accept all the choices that you're making. And that's really hard, because our world wants to feel love,
right?
But they want it on their own terms. And that's not love. That's really not. That's more abuse. It's just reverse abuse. Because you won't let me love you outside of your ramifications, you're abusing me. Now I can abuse you, and that's wrong too.
Yeah.
And so to demand my love, well, you don't unconditionally. No, I do unconditionally love you. I just don't like the choices that you're making. It's totally two different things.
And if you've ever been married, you can love someone without liking them all the time.
It happens. It does happen. So I took a particular direction with that. As a whole, how should we as the church be responsive to those? And we need to initially love and accept them. Now, we if there's bad behavior, we should not excuse bad behavior or abusive behavior. We should not excuse that in any capacity. But
no matter what the circumstance.
Right. Abuse is never right, period. End of story. Abuse is never right. There's never a time that abuse is acceptable.
Right.
Not in my opinion. And those who try to skirt around that issue because Jesus didn't formally and officially address abuse, I think are just, they're wrong from the get-go. Because
there are a lot of things that Jesus didn't put his official stamp on word for word.
Right.
So we're not going to play that card.
No, but I mean, I think he does speak to abuse in the way that he handles the woman brought before him in John 8, caught in adultery. Because where's the guy? The law at the time demanded both be in
Punished.
Trouble.
Yes.
But they happened to only bring her in front. So she was being abused at that time. Either explicitly or implicitly, she's being abused. And Jesus doesn't allow for that. And so I think that's an important thing for us to take note of. He doesn't have to use the term abuse for him to be speaking against it.
Right. To recognize it.
Yeah. And so I think that's important. Nobody should stay in an abusive relationship. And I grew up in a time, and our convention came through a time when we had leadership that would suggest that you need to suck it up and stay at home. And I vomited nearly when I first heard that come out, because it's just wrong. That's just wrong. No human being deserves abuse. Period. End of story.
That's right.
The human creation, the created by God, that we have been created in the image of God, demands a certain level of respect that abuse does not afford. And so to say that you should accept abuse because it's coming from your spouse, no,
that's not okay.
That's not okay. It's not okay. I think, and I've counseled people who have been in abusive relationships, and they're like, yeah, but the Bible says. I'm like, okay, let's step back a second and recognize that when the Bible is speaking to that, it's not taking this into account.
Right.
The depravity of our world grows over these last 2,000 years since that word was written. And the depravity has expanded exponentially in our world to encompass things that was not a part of that process. But you as a human being should respect yourself enough and should have the level of enough respect from other people that abuse is not acceptable. And so, step away, and if reconciliation can happen through a separation, okay, let's see if that can happen appropriately. But if reconciliation can't happen and that there's no remorse by the abuser, they in essence They're abusing you because they're finding their pleasure someplace else. And in that alone, I think provides enough grounds that they're already in an adulterous relationship, whether it's emotionally or physically. They're already in some other, they're receiving their pleasure from something else. That's why they're abusing you.
Right.
And that's wrong. And so step away, step out, get out, whatever you need to do to protect yourself. And should there be children involved, to protect the lives of the children. Because that father is exasperating their children through the abuse of their mother. And that's also a sin according to scripture. So the abuser's in all kinds of wrong here.
Yeah.
And I think the mother, the wife, is in all kinds of right position to step out and step away for the protection of herself and her kids. And I think it's a fair statement to allow for that.
It's not very Baptist of you.
No, it's not very Baptist of
What?
me, but the Bible's better. The Bible's better. I want to be.
I whispered that you weren't supposed to.
I want to be.
That.
I don't care. I want to be more biblical than I am Baptist. And if being biblical means I can't be Baptist anymore, then I'm out. And if the SBC 22 in Anaheim does not do the right thing this year, I'm going to have a very complicated time wanting to remain Southern Baptist if they cannot handle their business appropriately concerning the abuse issues within our convention. You can't hide 50 years of abuse patterns and then try to exonerate yourself through some outside entity. You can't do it that way. So either do right or we're gone, because we're not going to stand for that. Me and a whole lot of other people, we're not going to stand for this stuff. I wish I could be there. I wish I could vote. This is why we go. This is why the church pays for pastors to go, is because it's votes like this that are critically important to the future of our convention. Yeah. And now I'm going to have to sit on the sidelines and just listen to it and pray that they do the right thing.
That there are enough like-minded people there.
Exactly. And I think there are there, because I think my age and younger are done. It's like,
as they should be.
No, it's like, no, we can't do this. Do the right thing. Do the right thing. And our sexual abuse task force has been doing very well in trying to accomplish this now that they have been, now that it was started by last year's vote and they were put in charge of handling this. They've done a good job, and I appreciate the work that they've done. They've got some recommendations that they're going to bring, and I'm waiting to see how strong it's going to be.
This is all live streamed, right?
Yeah, it'll be live streamed. And so I can listen to it. I just can't speak to it. I can't make a motion. I can't address anything. I can't vote on anything, but passively I can watch. But the idea of how we cooperate and have organized ourselves as Southern Baptists is that representatives from all the churches gather annually to do the business of the convention. Now, sadly, out of 43,000 churches, only about 8,000 send anybody. Now, I certainly understand we've got probably thousands of churches that can't afford to send anybody. And so whoever becomes president this year doesn't have complete power, but I would hope that they would help lead us to an opportunity and investigate a way that we can, let me put it this way. If American Idol can take votes nationally for who should be the next American Idol, I think the SBC needs to figure out how to do this so that our bivocational pastors, our small church pastors, our rural pastors that cannot go because of money, cannot attend, they need to have a way to make that happen. There's got to be a way
that you can do that.
There is. It's just we have to be ready to do that. And I certainly understand and appreciate being present. And I think some of the machinations of it all are afraid that they will lose something if we move to this stream, because who's going to show up if we can do it from the house? And I certainly appreciate that. And so I don't know how to make it not be that way. But maybe it's you have no microphone, you have no opportunity to speak for or against or make any motions. All you have is a button to vote.
Yeah.
If you want to speak, attend. And I think that those are some very strong opportunities there, that you can make a division of opportunity. If you want to speak into it, if you want to have the opportunity to speak to it, you attend the meeting.
And if you want to go collect the pins.
Right. If you want to go to the exhibits and collect all of the goodies. But, going to the meeting, you have NAM lunch, North American Mission Board lunch, and IMB dinner. You have opportunities to hear intimate reports and the ongoing things of what's happening with all of our 9,000 missionaries that you can't do online. So there's some benefits to being present as well as the opportunity to speak live. But I think they should at least allow a vote to happen, because if these other entities can do this, come on.
I mean,
we can
big enough that they could.
We can do this. So
we got a lot of comments today.
Oh, I'm sure we do.
No, is that God's War is tiny. It's like 8-point font.
But like 1,000 pages.
You get a lot of amens in there.
Well, my position on this is a widely held position. It's unfortunate that those in leadership of the national entity of the Southern Baptist Convention have not held the grassroots opinions of these things for the last 50 years. They chose to hide it and cover it instead of expose it as it should have been exposed in a proper and proper way. And, we've been calling for this database for years. Unknown to us, it was already being done, and we were simply being told, no, it can't be, and it's not, but it already was. And that's an egregious affront to us. And so, but they're not in power. They're not in leadership. New leadership is coming, and being administered right now. And so, and I'm not talking about the president of the Southern, but this is executive committees. This is the governmental side of the convention. And there's been a massive turnover in that, and it's appreciated by those of us that, those of us, the minions on the sidelines. We appreciate that it's too little too late in some ways, and for some people that have already exited our convention because there was, it's too little too late. But as any good minor prophet would say, it's never too late for repentance. So let's get it done, and
it's never a bad time to do the right thing.
Never a bad time to do the right thing. And so now's the time. I pray for Anaheim. That's how we term it. That's where it's located this year, is Anaheim. We pray for Anaheim. I pray for the convention. You need to be praying for it as well. That they will.
There's going to be a ton of protesters there.
Oh yeah,
they're already planning. They have heightened security.
I'm sure. And we tend to have that anyway, especially when we go to particular cities that are not as friendly. Do what?
Los Angeles.
Well, I mean, but this was scheduled years ago. We schedule our convention 6 years out, and so I know where we're going the next 6 years. Some years are more expensive than others, depending on where you go.
Sure.
LA's one of them. Orlando's one of them. But it's coming to Dallas again in 3 years. Indianapolis is not as expensive, and we'll be there twice in the next 6 years. But then we'll go to Salt Lake here, I think, in 4 years, and Salt Lake's expensive. Baltimore's expensive. We've been there a time or two. Some places are really expensive. Las Vegas can be expensive for other reasons. But anyway.
I want to go to Vegas, though.
We haven't been to Vegas in like 30 years, and I have a feeling there's reasons. But anyway.
Marcus is a Las Vegas Knights fan.
Oh, yes.
And
yes.
I'm a Chiefs fan.
And they're going to play.
We're trying to figure out
how can we get
how can we get a hockey game and a football game the same weekend?
Ooh. Well, you can, but that scheduling is going to be tight. It's got to be a late season game.
And then getting tickets. So.
Oh, yeah, for both of those won't be cheap.
Without
breaking the bank.
Yeah. That'd be my Father's Day birthday for the next 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. That's right. Hey, guys, you guys have a great weekend. And post your comments if there's something that you want us to talk about. Feel free to post that in the comments. We'd love to know that. If you don't have a church home, you can find us at fbccrowley.org or right here on the west side of Crowley. We'd love to see you, have you, and worship with you this weekend. Behave yourself, and we're going to talk about that. We'll have a guest speaker this weekend, but he's going to continue the series. So let your yes be yes and your no be no. That integrity is what he'll be speaking on this weekend, and then I'll pick it back up. when I get back.
It's got to be nice to be a guest preacher and you already know what you're preaching on.
Well, I asked him ahead of time, and I said, "Would you be willing to
This
just
is how
keep the series
conversations go,
going?"
too. We don't ever quit.
No. We turn off the broadcast and then we just do this. But yeah, come support him. He's a seminary student. Needs your support, your love, your care, and he needs the practice. And that's why I try to incorporate seminary students in a lot of things that we do, because they need it and so do we. So you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.